I'm your host, Riem Zin Labidin, and you are listening to Tech Tag Podcast. Today, our guest is Becca Williams. She's a senior tech recruiter for functional programming at Wave Talent. I'm excited to talk to her and to learn about her role. Let's meet with her and learn about her journey. Hello, Becca. I'm very happy to see you and to talk to you today. Thanks for accepting the invitation and welcome to TechTech.
Yo, thank you so much for having me. I think it's definitely a different type of podcast of what you're probably used to on TikTok. So I'm really happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for your time. And to start, you can introduce yourself and what is your current role?
Yeah, so I'm a senior recruiter. I've worked in solely sort of the functional programming space for 2 years now. I'm also the lead when it comes to Wave Talent and our diversity and inclusion aspect of things. And Wave Talent are a huge sort of recruitment firm within the UK. But we have quite a few communities for people to sort of connect with each other. So myself and my colleague Olivia, who's also in functional programming, set up Functional Females. So I'm also the co-founder of Functional Females. But yeah, that's a little bit about myself.
The first time we got the chance to talk together was in the context of functional female, and I joined the community. And I'm looking forward to talk about it in this episode later. I'm interested to know how was your career path? How did you start towards this path? Because now you are working in a tech company, you are hiring people, and like, what is the motivation to take this path?
Yeah, so it's a strange one for me because myself, when it comes to like education wise, I didn't get far in education. Like when I got left secondary school or high school for most people, I went into college for just a few months, but then I worked full time from the age of 16. I was really passionate like about the job that I had, which was at a theme park, and I just loved it so much. So for me, I was surrounded by like so many friends, like I was meeting new people all the time and I was making money. So at 16, that was definitely the preference for myself. But yeah, it was later on, it was only 2 years ago, I was 24 when I got into recruitment. And it was a really sort of strange time for myself because I was in pub work more than anything. But for me, the motivation was always how can I make as much money as possible, but enjoy my life as much as possible as well. I've always been like someone that takes a job that is surrounded by a lot of people, like it's different every day, and I can still sort of connect with new people every day. That's always been the sort of job that I've had. But yeah, I saw a job advertisement for recruitment, and it was you can earn £100,000 in a year and go to all of these countries and go on like lunch clubs to like different restaurants, and it sounded incredible to me. So yeah, I jumped on a call with the founder of a upcoming sort of recruitment company that was specialized in Scala. And yeah, I think it sounded amazing to me, like the thought of not only making a lot of money, but being surrounded by other people that had the same sort of drive as me to like connect with new people. I think technology sounded super frightening to me. Like it was something in my interview that I mentioned like 3 or 4 times. Like, I don't know anything about tech. Like, how am I gonna do this job if I don't know tech? And it was always like you'll learn like the basics of tech that you need to know, but it's all around sort of being a people person, like communicating with people, like being like caring about people. Like that's recruitment as a whole. It's speaking with people, finding out their needs, what they want, what their drivers are as well, and then finding the sort of perfect role for them. So yeah, it was definitely a journey, and everyone says recruitment is like a roller coaster. It really is. There's a lot of ups and downs, but yeah, I've really enjoyed it, and I'm definitely happy that I've landed in a sector like functional programming and like Scala and Elixir and Rust. Like it's an amazing sort of area to be in for me.
Yeah, that's really nice. When you started working, you automatically learned some technical details about even about the job roles that you are offering. You are working with different companies.
Yeah, so we're an agency, so we do recruitment as a whole now, and we've got different like tribes we're called. So there's like a
Mm-hmm.
front end tribe, we've got a back end tribe, one for data engineering. We've got a team that look after product and design, but myself and two of my colleagues sit in the functional programming tribe. So yeah, we work with companies all across Europe, and we sort of find out that their technology is what they're working with, and we go out, and we've got quite a good network when it comes to like Scala developers, Elixir developers, like Haskell, Clojure, Rust. But yeah, so I've learned a lot of things that I didn't know, especially when it comes to the sort of creation of everyday technologies that I use.
I can imagine, because also you need to connect with people and to make sure that they will be like a good fit for the offers.
Yeah, like you can see within Scala, like you can't just find one Scala developer and they're good for a Scala role. Like there's so many different parts of the ecosystem that you really need to understand like which area someone fits in, like what technologies they've got experience in, and are they really going to be a good fit for that company.
Yeah. Your current company is, this is the first and your current job, right, on this field?
No, it's my second. So the
Oh.
the initial recruitment company that I worked for was Scala focused only. So that was UMatter.
Mm.
But I joined Wave Talent this year, which has just been amazing. Like they're very people focused. Like I think the amount of communities that we have sort of shows like they build our not only client base but candidate pool by making connections. Like we're really encouraged to sort of get out there and meet people face to face. Like if we've got a candidate in the process, it's like, okay, if you're in the office, like go out and have a coffee with that candidate if they live in London, if they're nearby. Like if someone's like around, like definitely like we're really encouraged to build long lasting relationships, which is amazing.
Yeah, and you are also being a part of the organizers of different Scala events, right? And also other functional programming events.
Yeah, so that's something that we've led definitely with functional females. I think one of the sort of main reasons that we created this community is that I had been to technology events, and Liv had been to them as well. And
Mm.
we had noticed that there was really like a huge difference with the amount of males at these conferences compared to females. Like I think there was a time, an event that had like 300 developers, and I met with about three or four females. So it was a huge thing for us to not only have a community where we can share events all the time and say like this event's coming up, and have women be like, oh, okay, well if there are a few other women that are interested in going, like I'll go too. But also yeah, like speaking with these events, like partnering and pushing it out there to as many females as we can, so that we could get awareness around these events and try and make a difference.
I like this initiative. Also, like the events, it needs to be more shared between people or populated, and having like a platform where you can check out what's going on in the community. Also, people will get more motivated to attend when they know that there are other people they know are going. And I can relate. There is less women in different tech events. And because it's not motivating to know that you are going there and all of them are men. And it's myself, I experienced that when I went to conferences, I didn't understand how to start the conversation. And I worried, like, if people will misinterpret, it's better to feel like there are more women there and can talk to people, different people there.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think even like I like going to Lambda Days like this year, they did amazing sort of trying to make a difference there. But I remember seeing like males that were there by themselves, and struggling to sort of make conversation, or like go up to people and start. And I'm like, that's difficult for males, and I get that. But imagine being a female and knowing that you're like one of 100 females
Mm.
there. Like the pressure is 10 times more. But it was really nice actually there, because we got one of our community leads, Kim. We encouraged her to come, and
Mhm.
also got her on one of the talks as well, which was amazing. But we met with a few, I think there was like 3 or 4 women from functional females that were there. So it was
Cool.
really nice to see that. And I think having more like females doing conference speaking or doing like a panel discussion or something, I think it's amazing seeing that as well.
Yes, exactly. I don't know, like this topic triggers me a lot.
Yes,
Be-
same.
Yeah, when you feel like you are very different, you join the group of people and everyone is trying to figure out how to talk to you because you are very different. And sometimes people ask me weird questions because they are not used to see women there, or I don't know.
Approach the conversation. I've had a lot of different conversations and with a lot of women in tech now, and I think the experiences that are throughout tech are so like crazy. But like some people, they don't even realize that they're doing it, or they don't even mean to like treat women differently. But I think it's just the way that technology has always been sort of pushed forward for like men, or like white men in particular. And it's like
Yeah.
there's something that needs to sort of change for conversations to be had like internally. Like I remember one of the conversations being had at Lambda Days was that women get put to do like a lot of the glue work, which is just like things that aren't in your job title, and things that are just like everyone should be sort of coming together to do, but they sort of put that on like the females to just do it because they're like, oh, okay, well, females have a sort of like nurturing side where they're happy to help, whereas males are like known to be a bit more competitive or dominating, so they'll do all the sort of tough work. So yeah, like that's something that really needs to change, and it's crazy for me to sort of hear that is something that a lot of females are facing.
Yeah, I agree. I see that. And also, like, there are some guys who are, misogynist.
Yes, yeah, I've had a lot of experience with those.
Yeah, and these people can be exposed very easily if they are working in tech and with women. They just get offended by just hearing a woman sharing a normal idea like they also do.
Yeah, I wish there was a way to sort of spot it more often in tech companies, or not so much spot it because females can spot it, but it needs to be like addressed automatically,
Oh,
and it
yes.
needs to be something that doesn't sort of proceed, because introducing other females to those companies and them not understanding that they might be exposed to like misogynistic behavior like that is, yeah, it is terrible, and it can do a lot of damage for women sort of staying in tech.
Yes. And this is like, I feel the company and also the hiring managers have like a really an impact on this. They can make sure that everyone is doing good work and collaboration together, etc. Is it part of your job also, like to follow up with the people who got hired and also the
Yeah,
companies?
so I will always sort of stay in contact with like people that I've placed, just because like I obviously want to make sure that they're happy in the company, everything's going well for them. And also like you never know when they may need your help again. Like it's always good to sort of stay connected and yeah, continue that sort of connection with them. But yeah, I think most recruitment companies, they have like a 3-month window where if they leave their company in 3 months, then they have to refill them, or they have to give like their recruitment feedback. So you'll see a lot of recruiters
Mm.
that probably would stay in touch with their candidates for 3 months, and then you probably won't hear from them again.
Ah. And I used to see like a company that have like a human resource team, and
Yeah.
it's the same company, but your role is working on the recruitment company
Mm.
that collaborate with different companies. And
Yeah.
is there like some team events with them, or it is only like with your own?
Yeah, so it does vary definitely. I think a lot of recruitment companies, they probably won't have many events with their clients, with the companies that they work for. I know with us sometimes we do try to collaborate and do like meetups or like collaborate on events and stuff together. That's something that we try to do as often as possible, but it's not common. Like the meetups are usually just like an online meeting, just chat with the team, find out how the hiring's going, like how the pipeline is with the current candidates that they've introduced, and if there's any changes or anything that they need. But mainly all of the team events like within recruitment sort of stay within their recruitment teams.
Nice. Connecting with people in your team also helps to learn from their experience with different candidates.
Yeah, I think as well, it makes a big difference because I always see what diversity and inclusion like does for big companies, like and the effect it has on them is so good. Like it helps that like our company, Wave Talent, that we're a super diverse company ourselves. Like we have a 50-50 split. I think we may have one extra female actually than male, which is really good because recruitment as a whole again is really, really male dominated.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, we have a complete 50-50 split, and we've got a very sort of ethnically diverse company as well. So it's good when it comes to collaboration. Like there's so many like different ideas that come about. Like every time we're in the office, like we've got meetings back to back in our diary for like training sessions and like group meetings. And if one of us is like, oh, I had a really good chat with this candidate and it went really well, like this is what I done, then everyone's like, okay, can you do a training session on that, please? And then we'll all jump on it, which is amazing.
Oh, that's really cool. And when you have this hiring process, is it's mostly like the first step with the candidate, but then later the technical interviews will be done by the companies?
Yeah, so we usually do a screening with the candidates. So we go out onto the market and find all of the candidates for them. We'll do a first like sort of screening call and make sure that the candidate's right for the company. And then once we've made all those judgments, like we'll introduce them to the company and then like help the process throughout. So if we'll understand how many interview processes they have, what sort of prep to give the candidate like going into the interview. We'll let them know what the technical stage is, like what to sort of brush up on. And then at the end, we'll also help the candidate sort of negotiate to make sure that they have the right salary. And then once they've signed their contract, then yeah, of course they'll join the company.
Cool. Would you like to share some of the goals that, or like the next steps you would like to do in the future?
Yeah. So one of them, like of course with functional females, like it's still growing as much as possible. I think we're around 100 members at the moment. But we want to have a meetup for functional females, like to like discuss the challenges within tech, but also the successes for females in tech, and also introduce them to any companies that they might be interested in, like do potentially like CV training sessions, or like give them sort of advice when it comes to recruitment that we can do, but also just have a space where everyone can sort of connect and come together. I think that was one of the main goals, like in making functional females. I think there's so many Discord chats or Reddit chats, and for me as a female, like I'm not even in tech, but for me as a female, like I've had weird messages over LinkedIn, weird messages over like Discord or Reddit, and it's like for functional females, it's a safe space. Like that's not what anyone's here for. Like we want to respect each other, but also like having those connections. And in such a niche area like functional programming is so important. So yeah, having a meetup will be on the radar hopefully for this year or early next year. But yeah, we just want to grow, but also I just want to help as many companies as possible really understand like the importance of diversity and inclusion.
Yeah.
Like it's something, especially this last quarter, that I've dug into so much. I've created like a whole sort of training like sort of pack for companies when it comes to this space. Like I'm really passionate about that. I think that not only sort of building a diverse team within tech, which is an area that's so like white male dominated, like but also like retaining that, like the amount of articles that I've seen around like women that will fall out of tech by the age of like 35 because they're either not respected or not looked after, or
Mm.
or aren't given like the things that they need to be supported like is awful. So for me, like if I can help as many companies as possible, like not only build a diverse team but retain a diverse team, then that's the sort of main goal for me.
Yeah, that's really great because it will help a lot and we need that. Like it's very important to speak up and to find people like you that will support this mission. And yeah.
It's something, yeah, that I'm putting like myself as a non-negotiable for me to make sure that there's a focus right now. Every female like candidate that I speak with, like not only am I introducing them to the companies that I know, but I'm making sure I go out there and I find the company that is sort of perfect for them and make that introduction. And also where I've created functional females now and I have a dedicated sort of space there, like whenever I have a new role that does fall on my desk, like that's the first place that I'll go to say like, hey ladies, like I want to make sure if you're looking for a role and if that's interesting to you, before I go out there and message the thousands of males that have already probably been messaged about 3 times, 4 times today about a role, you know.
Yeah, like the people there have the first chance to see these nice offers.
Yeah, I think it's definitely an area that companies can improve, but I've seen it a lot recently, like being able to help companies that really do want to sort of make a difference, like just giving them advice and sometimes it's not going to be your 10 out of 10 candidate, but they can be a 10 out of 10 candidate if you give them a chance, like within the company. Like it's just finding a balance, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. I remember you and also your colleague share a lot of advice during interviews, etc. It would be valuable also in this session if you would like to share some of the tips. Like there are people who are, for example, looking for a job. I usually care about the people who are starting their journey. Do you have some tips like for them for their first interviews?
Yeah, so I've spoken with a few sort of junior candidates, and it's quite frustrating for us because I know that our partners, like, they come to us as a recruitment partner to provide them with like senior level or
Yeah.
above CVs, but I do what I can to sort of help those junior developers sort of start out. I would say one of my biggest pieces of advice is like staying up to date with current technologies that are coming out there and making sure that you're playing about with them like on GitHub and you have open source. Like that's always going to be like a standout thing for companies. Like any candidate or developer that has a GitHub profile with open source to show that they've sort of tried to learn new technologies is amazing. And not only that, like if you have like some really strong work on there, it can also sort of skip a step sometimes on when it comes to interview process. I've seen multiple times where developers that would usually get a 7-8 hour take home assignment to do, they've just skipped that stage because they've looked through the work that they've done. So yeah, that's a huge one. Also I'd say making sure that your LinkedIn profile is very neat. It sounds awful, but in English, but because there's so many remote opportunities now, like from people in the US that are hiring across Europe, like just fully remote European companies, like it's best to have your LinkedIn in English so that you open up a scope of people that are going to be reaching out to you. But yeah, I would say always just sort of a small brief discussion on the project you're working on and then like a list of all of the key technologies that you're using. But yeah, try and keep your LinkedIn as neat as possible. But yeah, I'd say the main piece of advice is just like getting out there and making connections, like whether it's a community like functional females or whether it's a Discord chat or a Reddit chat or whether it's just connecting with people on LinkedIn and
Mm.
reaching out. Like I think you'll stay in someone's mind. Like if someone's not hiring right now, like they'll remember the person that put the effort into reaching out to them on LinkedIn to let them know that they were starting their journey and that they've seen like about the company. Like just put yourself out there as much as you can.
Yeah, that's true. Have you encountered some obstacles or like difficulties with the candidates or during your job in general? And you can share about them?
Oh yeah, I've loads. Yeah, I think as I mentioned before, like recruitment is said to be like a roller coaster. There's so many like ups and downs. Like one week, like you can like have loads of final interviews happen and get loads of offers on the table and things are looking great. And then the next week, like someone's accepted a counter offer and someone else has accepted another offer and someone else has just dropped out because they don't fancy it. Like
Oh,
you just never really know. Like there's sales aspect and there's also like selling a human to a company and then selling a company, a culture, like a mission, a technology in the team to a person as well. So there's a lot of variables when it comes to it. But I say there was a one that really stuck in my mind because there was one time that I spoke with a really great candidate and I listed off the companies that I thought would be the best fitting for him. And I said, these are my 3 clients I'm working with at the moment. Like, I think that these 2 are really, really a good fit for you. And he was like, you know what? I like one of them, but one of them I don't like at all. And I was like, no, I think like from what you've said to me, like I think that it will be great fit for you because they use like Scala and Akka heavily. Like they are a really fast growing company. Like they've hired developers that you've worked with in the past. Like you've got team members that work there. Like you would really enjoy it. And he was like, no, I don't want to, but thank you. And I said, you know what? Like just speak with your ex-colleague and find out how he finds it and then come back to me and we can make the introduction if you want to. And he was like, okay, I'll do that. And then he spoke with his colleague and got his colleague to introduce him to the company. So
ah,
as soon as that happens, then I'm like cut out of the picture. Like he's just in the process with that company. But because he was still speaking with me about the other company, I was helping him through that interview process and also through the other interview process because it was a company that I knew a lot about. So I was giving him advice on the recruitment process. And yeah, he ended up joining that company and I lost out on a lot of money because of it. But it was a bit sad because he didn't understand. Like I didn't mention it to him. I said, like, you told me at the start that you didn't want this company, and now you've gone separately and been introduced, even though I showed you the company. And yeah, I was happy for him because he joined the company and I think he's still there now, so he's still happy. But yeah, it's very frustrating for someone like myself that puts a lot of effort into the process and yeah, doesn't see anything at the end of it, I guess.
yeah. I can imagine how this caused some.
Definitely frustrating, but like at the end of it, like I just had to, yeah, sort of take a deep breath and just say, okay, tomorrow's a new day, but like, well done, like, congratulations on getting your new job. And yeah, I mean, he's happy now, so I guess it worked out well for him.
And like this question came up now. It's about when someone get hired through your company. Would it be like a contract with the hiring company, or would it be just with the company itself?
Yeah, so we sign a contract with the whole company. So it's like an agreement that our company partners with their company, and then anyone that we introduce them to, like they will pay us a fee if they join the company.
And like the candidate would be like a part of the consultancy, or
Yeah.
no? It's
So some recruitment companies work on like a contract basis. So
mm.
it's like they would hire them for that company, but the recruitment company would payroll them every like sort of week and give them their wages and then the company pays the recruitment company. But the way that we work is just a permanent placement. So they just pay us a fee and then they join the company and it doesn't have anything to do with us. It just
Ah.
they sign the contract straight with the company.
Oh, cool. I understand. What is your current challenge that is like that challenges you to work harder and to grow?
So I'd say when I started out, like the challenge of technology as a whole was massive for me. I think it took me probably about 2 months to really like jump on the calls and be really confident in talking about technology when I knew like sort of the things that I was looking out for. But yeah, that I wasn't like I'm quite a confident person, but going on those first few calls, like I was really like in my shell because I didn't want to say something that made me sound stupid. Because like the whole idea of technology and the back end development and hearing all the languages and the frameworks, like it was so out of my like comfort zone. So yeah, I would say just working within tech as a whole, like is definitely like something that makes me grow. But I'd say each rejection that I get as well is definitely a challenge that helps me grow. Like the first time that someone took a counter offer, I was so surprised. But now whenever anyone considers a counter offer or is thinking about it, I know exactly sort of needs to be discussed with someone. Like, do they understand? Like, are they still like not going to get all those things that they mentioned on the first call, the reasons why they were leaving? Like, have they all been addressed? Like, because a counter offer is more money, but are you going to get the opportunity to progress into leadership? Are you going to get like a diverse team? Like, what are those were the main like things that sort of made someone leave. But yeah, I'm much more confident now when it comes to someone going through that experience. But I think each rejection that I get, like there's not too many, like it sounds terrible if I say that everyone rejects their offers, but like every time someone does reject an offer, like it makes me more confident going into another offer, knowing that I can help someone a lot more by understanding the way that they feel.
Yeah. And I found it really cool that before starting your journey in this field, you already know yourself that you like to connect with people, and you are continuing on this, and you have a mission to include more women and to have more diversity in tech, and you are participating on that. Yeah, it's really inspiring to see that.
Oh, thank you so much. I'd say like there's been so many experiences that I've had in my life that like I mean not only being a female but also being a person of color, and there are a lot of things that have just made me realize like the importance of sort of fighting for something that you are really passionate about, and yeah, it helps me be better at my job as well because I still have that sort of passion behind it.
Yeah, and I can see that passion, and yeah, I think it also makes the people who have like different backgrounds more comfortable to collaborate with you, because I myself feel that I can trust your mission, and I can join your events. I can be comfortable.
Oh, I love that. I think there's the best thing to do is like always just be yourself. And I think, yeah, that's what I'm grateful for because everyone that I collaborate with, whether that's my sort of the candidates I speak to or the clients that I work with, like I just hope that every day, like I just still portray my best self and that everyone can sort of trust me.
Yeah, it's important. The last part of this episode is to ask you about, like, do you have something that you wished you have known before during your journey that could help people to learn from?
I would I mean it's probably been sort of the theme of this sort of chat, but I'd say like the main thing that I would sort of say to myself when I was younger is just never ever stop making like new connections. Like that's so important. Like not only is it going to help you so much more later on down the line, but like you never know when you like might need that advice from someone, or whether like they might be that helping hand like later on down the line. Like I think I don't know if it's a UK saying or if it's like global, that it's like it's about the people that you know more than what you know. Oh yeah, it's not what you know, it's who you know. I really believe in that. Like I think like if I've made like connections everywhere that I've gone, like then I've got a lot more chance of getting further in life.
It's very valuable to have connections, and it brings more opportunities. That's really nice advice. Thanks a lot for your time and for this awesome conversation.
Thank you so much for having me. As I mentioned, it's a little bit outside of the box, but yeah, I've really enjoyed it. So thank you so much.
I'm happy to have you. Have a nice evening.
You too.
I'm looking forward to our next episode with a new guest and new inspiring story. Until then, stay safe and stay tuned to our next episode. Tic Tac, tackle the inspiration.